Welcome to the Suitcase Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Sisson, and I'm here to show you how to create freedom in business and adventure in life. So if you have experience and knowledge, I'm going to show you how to monetize yourself so that you can build an online business you love and can run from anywhere in the world. You'll learn from the best of the best and inspiring interviews every single week, as well as behind the scenes from my travels on the road. So let's do this. So as you well know, I travel the world by myself as a single lady and have a lot of fun doing that and love the adventure and I guess in some ways the independence and freedom that I enjoy. However, of course I love hanging out with couples and married couples and people with kids on my travels, and I'm always really impressed with how they manage themselves. So in this week's episode, I asked two of my favorite people, Jill and Josh Stanton, to weigh in on what it's like to be a couple that not only travel 24/7 together, but also work in their business together and how they keep the romance alive. What they mean by wake up and break up, which is a great tip that allows them to live and work and travel together all the time. How they've built their business as affiliate marketers and basically built a lifestyle that they really love around a really profitable business. And why they've recently switched from not just the passive income model of the affiliate marketing sites, but also taking on the responsibility of building a personal brand rather than just their affiliate sites. So I think you're really going to enjoy this. Lots of good energy, lots of laughs, and oh my gosh, Josh just drops a knowledge bomb when he talks all about how to actually start your own affiliate niche site in like 4 steps. So you're going to get a lot out of this. I think we packed a lot into around half an hour, and they're a great couple. So get ready to jump in. And before we do, I'd just like to say a big shout out to Regis, who allow you to work your way. I dropped into one of their mobile offices in Bellevue, Washington, actually, about a week ago. So my first time using my Regis Business World member card, and got to hang out in their lounge area, drank some yummy coffee, and just focused in on having a business meeting with one of my good friends and entrepreneurs. So it was cool to just be out of our own environment, maybe not sitting in a cafe, and have access to all the things that we needed within that area, quiet space, but also just cool facilities. So Regis has more than 1 million customers worldwide who are doing exactly what I want to do and what you probably want to do if you're a business traveler and you don't like hanging out in coffee shops and you actually want something like a little bit more support, including scanning and photocopying and courier services, which they offer. So they also have a ton of home-based workers who, like we were doing, decided to escape my friend's house for the day and just be off-site and enjoy being back in kind of a business, entrepreneurial environment. And actually it was really quiet where we were. There weren't many other people working there, so it kind of felt like we had it all to ourselves. If you want to know more about Regis and figure out which of their plans actually suits your budget, you can also book event rooms. I'm holding my upcoming event in Dallas, Texas, my Build Your Online Business workshop in a Regis workshop. Easy to book, just did it online. They gave me a quick call back about 2 minutes after I looked into a quote, and it's really reasonable, so I'm excited to have one of their boardrooms there in Dallas. Go across to suitcaseentrepreneur.com/Regis, Regus, and check them out. Also, if you do want to attend my Dallas workshop, there actually is just 1 seat left, so go across to suitcaseentrepreneur.com/workshops. It's happening on August 15th. I'm really, really excited. It's going to be fantastic. I just had the one in Vancouver. 10 amazing folks turned up. Always love the energy that comes from those days. And this is my last one for the entire year. So if you're in the area or if you're coming through, if you're coming to Podcast Movement, please come along to that. It would be amazing to meet you. Right, let's get into the episode. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Suitcase Entrepreneur Podcast. And you are listening to episode 103, and I thought I'd celebrate this episode with the wonderful Jill and Josh Stanton, currently hanging out in Thailand. How are you?
Holla.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks for having us on.
I like that number.
103, it's a good number. I don't know why.
I like 103.
Yeah,
Just excited to have you guys because you bring tons of energy and value. And also, you may remember lovely Jill from several episodes back where she dug deep and giving all the dirt on guest posting and how to use it so effectively to build your business. So I will totally link to that in the show notes because neither of us can remember the number. We thought it might be 69 because it's our favorite number, but perhaps not.
Oi!
Sorry.
Keep it clean over there, woman.
Sport number, people, get your minds out of the gutter. But today I really want to dig into your story because I think it's fascinating for two reasons. One, more and more of my listeners have been saying, hey, Natalie, can you bring some couples onto the show who live and work together and travel the world and do this, because it can't always be about single people like moi. And second, I'm just really impressed. We've met each other in so many different countries now, and I just love seeing the growth of what you guys have done. You were already running successful businesses online, which we'll talk about, but now I feel like you've really ramped up your personal brand and your podcasting, and you guys being a real unit and working that. So love to delve into that if you're cool with that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been one hell of a ride.
Yeah. Especially, the last 6 months have been insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you guys have taken massive leap and growth in your business and also your mindset. So I'd love for you to just share, first of all, like how you were making money before you really started rocking your personal brand, because this is something you guys teach now because you're so awesome at it.
Yeah, definitely. So we started out with affiliate marketing. So currently we have about 32 websites, but
What?
the good part about,
Wow.
But the good part about all that is we haven't touched them in nearly 8 months. They just make money on autopilot. So that's what, like you said, that's what we've started teaching. We have a free webinar, and we walk people through that process because we know how easy it can be to start making money with that model and allow yourself to, get out of your job and really start figuring out what it is you want to do online. And we truly believe that affiliate marketing is a great vehicle to get to that point.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why we wanted to get into affiliate marketing was because it's a passive income model. We didn't really want to just start working with clients straight away. I know that's a road that a lot of people take, which is absolutely fine. But for us, we wanted to say, look, how can we make passive income? Because that's going to enable us to start growing businesses outside of that as well. So, that's why we initially got started with that model.
And I'm really bratty, and I can't imagine like dealing with clients every day. I'd be like, nah, I don't feel like Skyping you today. I just want to watch trashy TV.
You guys truly have
that's how
built.
we really got to the point. Sorry?
You have truly built a business model currently, until you built this brand up, that sort of ran without you if it needed to, which is awesome because a lot of people want to learn how to do that. So we'll dig into that soon. But I'd just love to come on to what you've been doing more recently, which has helped grow that even more.
Yeah, so recently, we started Screw the 9 to 5. We had the idea on our wedding week, which is probably the 1 week you're not supposed to be working. But we were like, oh my God, that's the greatest idea. And so we registered it and started planning it right then and there. We were like, screw the wedding. Let's talk about the website.
You actually thought screw the wedding?
No. No. So we launched that early, like around April 2013. And for the first 8 months, we sort of winged it. We didn't really have a true focus with the Screw. We were just sort of like, oh, we should definitely do this and do this. And it was very generic, and it sort of wasn't really resonating the way we really wanted it to be. And it wasn't until we had, kind of a massive failure on our hands that we really got shocked into action and figured out that, oh, maybe we should reposition this whole site and start teaching what we know. And what we know is affiliate marketing. And ever since we did that with the Screw, it has been a totally new ballgame. Like the traction we've gotten in to be honest, the money has just been amazing and such a welcome surprise.
What was really interesting about it was we didn't start Screw the 9 to 5 as a way to make money. That wasn't on the agenda. It was like, look, we're about to move over to Thailand here. We don't know anyone. What's a way that we can connect with other like-minded people? And we thought, why don't we start a site where we talk about the things we're doing. We also talk about the lifestyle that we're living. And that way we can kind of connect with other like-minded people and sort of say, instead of going up to them and saying, hey, look, we're affiliate marketers, we can say, hey, look, yeah, we run a site called Screw the 9 to 5. You can check it out and you can learn more about what it is that we do. It was also a bit of an avenue for us to, because we had people asking us, constantly, how do you do that? How do you do affiliate marketing? How do you make that money? I don't get it. We're like, instead of answering all these questions one by one, we're like, why don't we just start a site and we could just refer people to that site and show them that way.
Especially because a lot of couples have questions like that. Like, how do you guys do what you do together as a unit, And so that's been a great vehicle to sort of get out there and connect with other couples who are like us and they don't want a conventional life. And so that's been an added bonus because we never expected that many couples to reach out to us and be like, oh my God, OMG, I want that. So that's been really, really great.
I've so really many questions that I wanted to come back to here. So I'm just going to ask them all in random order. So first off, listeners are probably going, ooh, how do you live and work and travel together? You're married, you're still super romantic, you post Instagram photos of your date night. So maybe talk through some like maybe your top 3 kind of tips that you can suggest for other people who are traveling. Because for people listening, if you travel all the time together, as you know, it's like 24/7. And that can get frustrating. So I'm pretty amazed how you guys do it.
Well, first off, if I don't post it on Instagram, it didn't exist. So
Jill lives on Instagram. Like sometimes I just catch her, like she'll be sitting with her tablet, and I'm like,
"You're on Instagram."
I know you're on Instagram right now, aren't you? Is that no?
I just like liking photos. But we're not going to front. Like, there's definitely days we like to call divorce days. Like we work and live and travel 24/7. Obviously, you're going to have hiccups. You know, it's not all smooth sailing. I really don't like to put that out there. Like, I don't want to pretend it is something it's not. There are bumps in the road, and you have to work through those things. The good thing is that's your best friend. That's your partner, and you can sort of collaborate together and work through issues and, you know, come out as a stronger team, which has been a huge benefit to all of us. So with that being said, do you want to teach the process?
I think the question was 3 tips for living and working and traveling together as
you're not getting
couple,
out of that
right?
yet.
So one tip is definitely come up with a very strong morning. So when we first start out in the morning, we actually do something separate. So normally we'll work out separately. So that's very important that you start the day off. I mean, it's cool you start the day off and you look at each other and stuff when you wake up. That's cool. But you're potentially about to spend the whole day together. So it's very important that you at least get away by yourself and understand that you are both individual people no matter what. I mean, like, yeah, you're coming together and you both have the same goals in mind, but you're also individuals and you need to like keep that up as well. So that's definitely the first tip.
We call it our wake up and break up.
The second
it's quite
tip
different to what other people do. So you look at each other, you acknowledge you exist, and then you go and do your own thing.
And we break up.
We're like, see ya.
See ya, wouldn't want to be you. The second tip is travel, like especially on transit days. I mean, transit days, they're always the toughest, especially if you got a really long one. So one of the things there is before you start the day, you need to recognize that you are probably going to get angry at each other. Like you just have to accept that and have like a little bit of a team meeting and say, okay, look, we've got 27 hours ahead of us here. You know, let's keep it together. You know, and we know we're going to get angry at each other. That's cool. Let's just get through this. Like, I mean, that's definitely one of the hardest days as far as like traveling and traveling goes as a couple.
AKA divorce day.
Have you got a third tip, Jill?
I think, well, what's really worked for us, and it's more along the, like, how we structure, how we work together, is to really, we came up with defined roles for each other. So there are certain roles that I take on in our business, and there's certain roles that Josh takes on in our business, and we don't really step over those lines in each other's little realm. I really I try and trust that he's going to make the best decisions for our business in his role, and he trusts the same for me. So that's been huge, because for the first like year and a half in our business, we didn't have that. And it felt like we were constantly battling for the final word or to be the one who's right and sort of win the argument. But we quickly found that when you try and win, you both lose. And we needed to come up with something that could really keep things smooth and copacetic in our marriage and in our business. And that has been such a game changer for us.
What was that word you used? Copacetic.
Yeah.
I've never heard that
vocabulary. Bitch.
Wow, that's amazing.
Does it exist? No, I'm just kidding. It is great. Well, thank you for sharing that, because I'm really impressed how you guys do it. So it's good to know there's some little strategies. And I agree, even if you're not in a relationship and you're just traveling with a friend or friends, you still need to, I think, have those conversations like, today's going to be a long day. Let's all take a really great attitude and keep the energy up and be kind to each other. Yeah. I've noticed that a lot when group traveling, because I'm so not used to group traveling. And when I was in Japan, I mean, they're an amazing group. But every day getting up, somebody was always like late, and we'd roll out of the hotel around 11. And I was just like, wow, really? But every day there was like somebody who was faffing around and just taking their time. And then, of course, 8 of you or 10 of you have to make a consensus on lunch. And I'm like, so it was good for me to like sit back and try and be patient and just be grateful for the company and getting to hang with different people and have a group experience. Anyway,
that's a good mindset, because that would be a struggle for me in that sort of situation.
It is a struggle when you're used to just doing it by yourself. So yeah, but it's good to experience. All right, so on to, how you guys actually have built this business, because I'm super impressed. I've been attending your webinars lately to learn, because you guys give out so much great info. But yeah, I think a lot of people would like to understand more about affiliate marketing and also affiliate sites. And I just want to caveat for people listening that I do it obviously in a different way, because I have my business website, my blog, my podcast, and I've created relationships and trust with my listeners and my community. And then I recommend products and services that I love and use. And I'm an affiliate for quite a lot of those. And that's how I get my affiliate revenue, or running webinars with people I trust. Now, you guys actually build this all based on affiliates. So let's dive into that, Josh, and talk about the difference.
Yeah, let's talk about, so our concept is, as you said, yours is a lot different to ours. But this one was one that we got started with because we knew it was attainable for us. We didn't have a big site that we could generate a lot of traffic from in order to refer people on through our affiliate links. So we had to come up with a concept where we could create small sites, get traffic from Google, and then refer those people onto merchants and make money. And we had to, obviously create a lot of these sites in order to create the kind of income that we needed to replace our existing income at that time and live and work overseas. So the concept is, to make it very simple for everyone, is product review marketing. So imagine you're like a product reviewer. That's your value proposition that you're giving off. You're finding products, you're reviewing those products, and then you're allowing people to read your review and then click on your affiliate links and potentially purchase the product. So with that said, the first step is to find products. So we do this thing called a product hunt. And the best way that we know of doing that is to go to all the different affiliate networks. Affiliate networks are basically places that connect affiliates just like us with merchants or store owners. And a couple of examples of those would be, say, Commission Junction, ShareASale, ClickBank, which is digital products, anything like that.
Rapid Health.
Yeah, there's so many of them, and we talk about every single one on the webinar, but I don't have time to go through them all today. So the idea is to go there, find a list of products, create a list of anywhere from 50 to 100 products. That means the exact product name. So I'm looking at my MacBook Air right now. So that's the exact product name, MacBook Air. Or my microphone is the Blue Snowball. So that's the product name, Blue Snowball. So you create a list of 50 to 100. Then you take that list and then you plug that into Google's free keyword planner tool. And that's going to spit out a bunch of results. And what you're going to be looking at is the monthly search volume. So what you need to do is look at any that have less than 500 searches per month and remove all those from your list. And you'll probably end up removing at least 60% of those results. So you refine your list back by 60%. So now you're left with 40%. The next step is to look at competition on page 1 of Google. So this is where things get a little bit tricky, a little bit technical, but a really simple way of deciding how competitive page 1 is for that product keyword term is to look at the sites currently taking up all the real estate on page 1. So if you look there and you sort of see, look, Amazon is showing up 3 or 4 times. You've got Walmart.com on page 1, Wikipedia, you've got all these big sites. It's like, look, I can't compete against those because I'm only going to create a really small site here and I'm just a one-person team. They've got resources,
coming out their ears.
Coming out their ears, exactly. So if you find page 1 isn't being taken up by all those big sites, but instead it's being taken up by small sites, then it means that you have a chance of competing against them. Because as we all know, the only way you're going to get traffic from Google is to get on page 1. So that's the second step. That's keyword research. Once you've decided, you've found like maybe a short list of products that you could potentially create websites around, you then need to actually build that website. So the first step is to register a domain name. So what we tend to do is register a domain name that includes the product name within. So something like MacBookAirReview.com would be an example. You have to remember that MacBook Air Apple isn't going to let you actually register a domain like that because they have trademark on that. So you want to make sure that the product that you have selected will actually allow you to register that type of domain. If not, that's okay. You can register a more general domain, something like laptopreviews.com is an example.
That'd be a pretty damn good one if you could get that.
If you could get that, you would crush it.
This is juicy stuff, so thank you for sharing. It's great.
That's okay. So once you've done that, you then need to set up hosting. Very simple process. Then you need to install WordPress, which is the website platform that you and we both use on our sites. Like 90% of the internet basically uses WordPress.
Gold standard.
And then you have to create a very simple looking theme. And if you want to check out, exactly what one of our sites look like, you can go to screwthe9to5.com, and on the front page, you'll see a link to our case study. On our case study, we actually link out to a type of site that we create, and you can actually see exactly what it looks like. Once you've got your site up and running, you then need to create content. So when you're creating content, you need to target other related keyword terms. So say, for example, with MacBook Air, that's the number one keyword term you want to rank for. And that's usually on your homepage. You then want to find other keywords like MacBook Air reviews, or buy MacBook Air, or MacBook Air versus Samsung, whatever. So you need to come up with, what we'd like to do is come up with at least 3 of these variation keywords, which is what we call them. And you're going to write pieces of content around those individual keywords. So you write a piece of content around MacBook Air where you're targeting MacBook Air, and then you'll write a piece of content around MacBook Air reviews. So you're trying to rank on page 1 for MacBook Air reviews. And then you write one about buy MacBook Air, and then MacBook Air versus whatever. So you've got these 4 pages up and running. Then what we do is we create this link silo. And this is where it's kind of like this secret technique that a lot of people don't talk about in SEO right now, but it's so powerful. What we do is we link from page 1 to page 2, then page 2 to page 3 to page 4, and then page 4 back to page 1, back to the homepage. So you created this loop essentially. Then in the final step, we start looking to try and get on page 1 of Google. And in order to do that, the basic concept of what we call search engine optimization is to build backlinks to our site. A backlink is, say, just a link that exists on someone else's website that is pointing to your website. Once you do that, once you start building those links, you've got this loop, this content silo. Try and think of links as having like juice, like literally like orange juice, which flows through links, right? So you've got this orange juice flowing from this other person's site through your backlink to your site. And then some of that juice is going to flow through to page 2, 3, 4. And then it's going to flow back to page 1. It's going to keep recycling. And it creates it's like this crazy silo effect that a lot of people don't know about, but Google absolutely loves. So that's the basic concept of this.
You crushed it.
I'd like to go into so much more detail, but it's very difficult to do that without having slides in front of me where I can show screenshots. But that as a simple concept is how it works. And you know what? If you've never heard of these concepts before, like backlinks and things like that, that's okay. We didn't know about any of that stuff either. All you need to do, what I've found is when you go through the process once, it's the hardest time. That's the hardest part. When you go through any kind of system once, it's very difficult. You go through the second time, you're like, oh, I did this like twice as fast as last time. And then the third time, the fourth time, eventually you do it like 4 or 5 times and you're like, this is easy, man. Like I can set up sites now within a couple of days. This is insane.
I love that. And, I'm going to link to in the show notes at suitcaseentrepreneur.com/103. These two have generously given me access to a webinar that has like this rocking information in it, but in really clear detail. So is that cool, guys? I'm going to link there at suitcaseentrepreneur.com/103.
We go super into depth within that training webinar. So if anything wasn't clear in that quick description, like Josh goes mega in depth on that training. So he geeks out over this stuff. So he goes nuts.
I have to say, I think you did a really good job summarizing it really clearly, like even down to the point of like what WordPress is and not assuming that everybody knows that. So I appreciate that.
Oh, I'm happy I was able to do so. I mean, like as like as kind of like a final thing, this is something that like, we developed when we were like, we don't know how to do half of this. We're not that technical. So we had to come up with something that was attainable for us. And that's what we came up with. So, if you've never done this before, that's okay. Like this is something that anyone can do because that's how we developed it. It came out of literally us not being very technical, developing something that could make money.
I love it, and that's why I was watching a webinar, because probably like people listening here, I'm sitting on a few domain names that I really actually want to do something with. And I think the kind of site that you're talking about building would be perfect for that. So I need to go back and do my due diligence, or maybe just hire you guys and get it working for me. So thanks so much for sharing that, because that's like worth, I reckon, honestly, thousands of people were taking notes. So hopefully you have been. And the second thing I want to say is, if you're cool about being transparent, I mean, you were already doing pretty well revenue wise each month, but do you mind sharing sort of how this has been growing for you since you've been ramping up your brand and becoming more visible? So you've sort of taken yourself out from behind the sites to help people and show them how they can do it themselves. You have your podcast, you have your blog, like you've just really been nailing it in terms of learning and understanding everything about online marketing for yourself. And how has that helped with in terms of revenue and just general business growth?
First off, thank you. That's very sweet of you. Secondly, do you mean with Screw or with the affiliate sites?
With Screw, actually. So I'd love to know what you were sort of earning before, because you're pretty transparent about that. And then also now how Screw has added to that.
Last year, I think we made, I don't know, like $65 a month with like Bluehost sales. This year, sorry, did I say last month? I meant last year. This year, it's been like, starting January, we started hitting like a consistent $2,500 a month. And ever since then, we've been, increasing and increasing. And this month, I think we're about to clear 15,000. Wow. So it's been, I
drinks
know,
on you
exciting.
When we next meet up.
Sorry?
Drinks on you guys when we next meet up. I'm just kidding.
As long as they're in Thailand and, 100 baht. I'm kidding. But it's been a really fast ramp up. We're so grateful. I mean, we worked our asses off. I'm not going to pretend we didn't. I'm not going to pretend it came easy. But it has, it's exceeded our expectations, and we ain't done yet. So we have some big goals that we'd like to hit. And
you know what? I mean, for the last 6 months, we've been working entirely on Screw the 9 to 5. And during that time, our affiliate sites, they're just making money. Like we're not doing anything for them. Like they're just consistently making money for us, like a full-time income for us month to month.
So it's nice to have both those combined now, and then Josh is getting into e-com. So hopefully we have a third one.
Nice.
Exactly. Like a big thing for us, like this is something that like Jill and I, we talk about so much, and we're very lucky because we work together that, like Jill can just focus purely on Screw the 9 to 5, and I can work on other online marketing strategies outside of that. So I can build businesses outside of that. And what's very important to both of us is that we don't want, for us, it's like we literally want to build other businesses outside of Screw the 9 to 5, so we're able to teach that on Screw the 9 to 5. That's like a big thing that we talk about all the time. And like we're very lucky that we can actually do that, because we are a 2-person team.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Now, some people may be listening and going, well, if you had this great income from your affiliate sites and it was more than enough salary for both of you to live a great life, and you get to hang out in Thailand. You've recently been in Canada and America. It's not like you're skimping in the cheap parts of the world that we love. But I guess some people might be saying, well, why did you add in this whole stream of extra work of building your brand? And I'd love to know that as well. I kind of know why, I think, but it might be interesting to hear from you guys why that was.
Of course.
Yeah, it's two things. The first one is that Jill's like very passionate about personal brand, about running a personal brand. Like this is something, like if you've met Jill, like she's like a very social person, very, like she loves building relationships and meeting lots of people all the time. And you can't really do that if you have just like a passive affiliate marketing business, you're just building sites. So that's like the first reason. That's, obviously it's very important to Jill. She wants to build a personal brand. The second one is that, we were like getting so many people asking us about this strategy that we're using all the time, like literally all the time. Even when we come here, we have people asking us all the time. Now it's so easy. We're just like, look, just go check out our webinar right now. We're running it every Wednesday. Go check that out, and you'll be able to see exactly how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, it was like we felt bad. We are like, look, we can either just not tell them, or we have to sit here for like the next 2 hours and try and explain it to them.
Yeah.
So it was like that. Those two techniques, those two reasons were basically why we wanted to start actually like teaching some models on Screw the 9 to 5, was because firstly, Jill loves it. She's so social. She can meet a ton of people doing it this way. And secondly, it was to save us time, basically.
And I think I said before, we have big dreams, we have big goals, and we need to make more money because our team keeps growing. So we need to make more money to be able to pay the kind of people that we want in our business. And like, that costs money. So especially if you want some quality people. So it's sort of like a matter of necessity as well.
Oh, totally. I mean, we're putting a lot of time, as you said, 6 months of time into Screw the 9 to 5, because we wanted to make it work. And you know what? It's a business. Like
Yeah.
everything you do online, for everything we do online for us is a business. So we have to treat it like that too. And I think that's something very important that a lot of people, don't think about enough, is that everything you're currently doing with your websites and whatnot, like you need to treat that like a business. Otherwise,
It's a hobby.
Otherwise, it's a hobby, and you're going to have to go do something else in order to survive.
I'm so glad you said that, because I talk about this a lot, and I talked about it in my book, is that for the longest time with my blog, I was treating it like a blog and just trying to figure out exactly how to run it and how to write better, etc. But it was when I turned around and went, hang on a minute, this is my business, even though it had zero revenue stream, but this is my business, this is my brand, that I really started to see things picking up. And I think it's like, you go hard or you go home, and you take it seriously, and you have goals and you have aspirations for it. And that's what drives you to make it amazing.
Absolutely. And I think that's what we did with Screw last year. Like most of 2013 was spent treating it like a blog, treating it like a hobby. There was no real strategy behind it. We were sort of just winging it. We didn't really know what we were going to talk about week to week with our videos. And it was stressful. But the minute we figured out, like, I sent out an email to our list and I said, look, we're changing things around here. This is no longer just going to be like a free resource library where you can come and like get as much stuff as you can for free. Obviously, we're going to keep up our training videos. We're going to introduce a case study, but we're also going to start selling products. If that's not your jam, cool. Unsubscribe. I totally understand. But just so you know, that's where we're going with this. So we were just really upfront. We're like, we're going hard. Either you stick around or you peace out. And most people stuck around. So that was great.
Yeah, I mean, Jill's totally, like, absolutely right with that. I mean, when you start charging as well, when you start charging for your services, for your time, you also hold yourself accountable. So the people who are actually purchasing what it is that you're selling, like, you're accountable to them. So you want to make sure that the content you're actually providing them, or the services you're providing them, is actually going to help them. I mean, like, that's something that, I like, since we started like sort of charging, we made that shift with Screw the 9 to 5. It's like, even our content, we're getting better as teachers. We're like more accountable. So we have to go out and find more content in order to provide that as a service to our customers. So once you make that shift, it actually makes everything better. So I don't think people should be afraid of doing that.
Yeah.
I agree. And I'd love to finish off on that, because as I was mentioning, we met up in Bangkok last year, and then Tropical Think Tank this year in Philippines. And what I loved is that every single time there was a session, whether I was speaking or somebody else, you guys are like, you were actually applying at the time. And I think that's a big shift that you guys have done. You ended up talking to everybody. Jill's like ex-bartender, knows how to network, and she's gorgeous, of course. And Josh is just like smooth, calm in the background, like, yeah, just chilling, mate. And both of you were like taking notes, literally making changes to your website at the time. You somehow ended up on John Lee Dumas's presentation as a great example of what you could do. And you guys just went ahead and did it. And that's the difference. And that, I love that action taking and that example, because that's what I try to teach all my clients and customers to do. You can't get results without taking massive action and just doing it. And you didn't mind whether it was imperfect, but you just started like just applying. And I love that.
Thanks, man. We weren't there to screw around. Like, we are serious with what
this is Screw the 9 to 5. You're not screwing around.
Ironic choice of words there.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to say the F word because that's what I was really thinking. Anyone who knows me knows I have a slight trucker mouth, so I'm trying to keep it clean for you now. But yeah, we went there with a mission. And that was to learn and implement and expand our business and ourselves as much as we could. Like, we invested some serious cash in that event in the Philippines, and we didn't want it to go to waste. So literally the minute we found something that resonated with us, and I literally think we took away one thing from each and every person's presentation.
Oh, absolutely.
And implemented it that week, if not the week right after, because it was all such juicy info that we could implement. It was so actionable that we'd be idiots not to actually make it work in our own businesses, especially when you have people like yourself or Amy or John or Greg or Chris or whoever, Pat, making these huge strides in their business because of the strategies they're teaching you. You'd have to be like seriously dense not to implement those into your own business, especially if you're trying to build a similar kind of brand online to what you've all got going on. So
totally. Do you know what I loved about Tropical Think Tank as well was there were so many things which were very easy to implement. Like I know you had like a list of all these tools that we hadn't heard about in your talk, and we were like, oh my God, we could just, how do we not know about this stuff?
And another thing I put into use after your talk, Nat, was the perfect day. So I wrote that all out, and I read it so much, and I'm truly a believer that that's why we've started having the kind of months that we've had, because I keep that vision in the back of my mind at all times. So I have these dreams or these goals that, you pointed out to us. And the minute I put that down on paper, it's like things started materializing.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Crazy.
So happy to hear that. It's a big part of the Freedom Plan that I'm doing the program right now. And it's like, you see people just going, I was really skeptical about this, but I put in the effort and they're just loving it. So yeah, I'm glad.
And I think the key with that, like you said, is to get really specific with your perfect day. Like I outlined like what I would wear.
Nice.
Or what color my couches I was sitting on. Like, I got as specific as possible so I could envision how that day would look. And that was the best.
What are you wearing in it?
What are your panties like? No.
Obviously something hot. But that was such a huge thing that I took away from one of your talks, and it's been such a good thing to have that I just love to, always revisit.
I love that. And that's exactly the point of it, right? To be living and breathing those perfect days as often as you can. So I just feel like that's an awesome note to end on. My brilliance. No, I'm just kidding. No, the perfect day.
Amazing, girl.
And I also loved how you just did first name dropping there, and instead of Pat Flynn, Amy Porterfield, Greg Hickman, you're like, like John, Pat. So, and this is another thing. You created great relationships with those guys. You've kept up with them around the world. And that's another super invaluable point of surrounding yourself with mentors and networking with the right people and investing in yourself and events, the right type of events and masterminds. So I'll put some juicy links in the show notes here at suitcaseentrepreneur.com/103 so that you can find out all about these two and what they have going on, the link to the amazing webinar and the Freedom Plan and all those cool things. So where can people find you if they haven't already been digging up your site while listening, going, I love the name?
Well, I would love that multitasking if they were actually doing that. But the easiest way is to just hit us up at screwthe9to5.com. It's all spelt out, no numbers, or on Facebook at facebook.com/say-no-to-9to-5.
Ooh,
That's probably
like that.
Easiest way. I'm always on Facebook. It's kind of a problem.
And Instagram.
And Instagram.
And Instagram. Yeah.
Instagram and then Facebook.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been a blast. It's been really fun.
Thank you so much for having us, Nat. We really appreciate it.
Very little swearing for once. So freaking disappointed. No.
Look at me growing up.
I know.
Should we just go crazy for a second and start swearing? No.
Can it be a stream of beeps?
It'll probably already be one of those, R-rated, what do you call it on iTunes? Explicit. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. R-rated. What am I talking about? Anyway, no, thank you so much for the generous knowledge bombs. And I'm so looking forward to seeing you guys somewhere around the world soon. So I'll toast to you from Seattle, and you can toast from Chiang Mai. And everybody else who's listening around the world, you can toast as well. And we'll all just have one big international global toast.
I love that.
Here's to the Freedom Fighters.
Nat. It was such a good time.
Thanks, Nat.
Thank you. So if you've been enjoying these weekly podcasts and also the Fresh in 15, which comes out every Thursday, but you're not getting my High Flyer newsletter, couple of times a week with juicy goodness, awesome Instagram photos, my latest Periscope videos, updates on these podcasts exactly when they go out with even more information, any launches that I'm doing, cool events that are coming up, basically lots of value bombs, lots of great stories from the road on how you can create freedom in business and adventure in life, then you're frankly missing out. I'm just saying. So go to suitcaseentrepreneur.com/freedom. Get yourself my Freedom Business Lifestyle Kit, which is epic and valued at $77 for free when you go there. And more importantly, you'll be in my community, which is really where I love you, because then I get to talk to you more and you get to respond and hit reply and we can have a conversation and meet up somewhere cool around the world and drink sangria. That's it from me. Have an incredible, freeing week.